in my opinion, the character Lee Everett uh, is one of the best video game characters that there has ever been since the inception of like video games. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a black man and Lee just happens to be a black character, but it's because the genuine quality of this particular character and the story that he goes on, this adventure, and how he grows as a character and what all he has to experience and go through. It changes him, and I feel like it changes you as a player to experience this. Because when you start off with Lee, like most characters for some reason in video games, you start off as a prisoner. And through a series of events, you wind up escaping your captivity. And you come into contact with this little girl named Clementine. And your focus quickly shifts from in the game from you simply surviving to you helping this little child survive. And it's amazing to me how the creators of this game managed to push the limits of human emotion, of the well, not human, of the emotions of a man, to like go into a protective mode for a child, and this child's not even yours. Essentially, this is just a girl you just happen to come across, and you quickly figure out that her family is dead, and because of her age, you can't really just go up and tell her, hey, your parents are dead. You have to come with me in order for you to live. And this game, I mean, it deals with racism in a very interesting way, in my opinion, because there are people who encounter Lee with this little white girl, and the first thing they think is, why are you with this little white girl? What's going on here? And they try to quickly make accusations, like in an insinuating way that he shouldn't be with this little white girl. And it just so happens that the game is taking place in a very racist town called Macon. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Macon, but yeah, it's this game. It tackles racism. It tackles a lot of stuff that honestly it needs to be touched on, and it needs to be touched on in the way that it's touched on in this game, where you can literally beat the shit out of a lot of people who need it, and people you can just literally leave them to die. you know However, you quickly find out in this game that, like life, a lot of the decisions that you're forced to make, you're in a dangerous situation. You're in like an apocalypse, a zombie apocalypse, as well as a crazy people apocalypse. You have to face off and fight things that you never thought you would have to fight. And everything you're doing, you got this little girl watching you. And what the game does is it puts you in a position where you realize, hey, my character may die, but I need to try to set this child up to be able to live even if I'm not here, because a lot of the people you're around are absolute pieces of shit. Some of them are pedophiles. Some of them are just genuinely crazy. And on top of that, you got people trying to kill you left and right. You're fighting constantly. And so you have to make decisions. Are you going to teach this girl how to survive on her own, or are you just going to try to protect her? And it's an adventure that takes you out of your own shoes and puts you in the lives of two other people. The events of this game, ultimately, they're horrific. You see things, you encounter things, you have to make choices that are just, very difficult. Very, very difficult. However, I'll say this: I would absolutely recommend this game. I would recommend it to, pretty much anybody. But I would especially recommend it to a black man, because this game, in my opinion, is like one of the, you know, gold standards of video games. And the character Lee Everett, not only did the game win Game of the Year, but Lee Everett, I believe, the character won Best Character of the Year. But Lee Everett also won one of the Best Character Ever awards, one of the best video game characters ever made. And it's because of the actor that played him, which I can't remember his name, but you could look that up. And just the bond he shared with Clementine and the story that it unfolds in this game. And ultimately, this game puts you as a man in the role of a father. You know, you have to assume that role in order to complete this game. And it's not done in a way in this game where it feels forced. It feels like you want to protect this child. You want to make sure she lives and survives. And I see how, in playing this game, how men can wind up, being heartbroken over child support, over paying child support for a child that's not theirs. I see how it can happen in this game. And by the time the game ends, from beginning to end, I mean, you can be the hardest man on the planet, and I guarantee you will still be in tears by the time you reach the end of this game. And the name of it is The Walking Dead, a Telltale game series. I think it's on like iTunes, Xbox, PlayStation. It's on like all major platforms. And I would recommend it. If you want a quality experience, definitely check it out.